Okay, this is about an alternative to a 3-card spread. And so what often happens is somebody asks a question, and I'm going to deal with an actual question that was asked, not of me, but of somebody else. So we're actually going to look at the 3 cards that came up, although I'm not sure which deck was used, and I'm going to use the Rider deck. So somebody asked the question. In this case, it was what's going to happen with my husband's career prospects. And the shuffling was done. You picked 3 cards, and so the cards that were chosen were the Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Ten of Swords reversed, and the Nine of Swords reversed. And so what the reader did was, and she's done this before, she looked at the cards, and with her method and with a general method, you just look at the cards. The first card happens to be the first, but it doesn't mean it's the most important. This may be the most important, but not because it's in the middle, but because it's the most important. You maybe talk about each card individually, or you can combine these 2 and these 2 and these 2, and you can combine all 3 to get a kind of composite meaning. And that's a method that a lot of people use, and it can be very good. And the reader who did this for the questioner talked about stress and low energy level and so on, and all that she said was correct, and the questioner appreciated that what had been said was accurate as well. The only thing is that this kind of approach of taking 3 cards and sort of not making it up as you go along, but making sense of it at that moment, it can be really, really good, because it's like multi-layered. And it's a bit like this postcard by Magritte, where he's looking at the egg and he's painting the bird, right? And it's a bit like you look at the 3 cards and you paint the picture of what they develop into. The thing is, it can be very good, but who would have thought it? I mean, that's a brilliant idea, I think, looking at the egg and painting the bird. I wish I'd thought of it, but I hadn't. And that's the thing I think about this type of reading, a free-form reading we could call it, where you have to be in good shape, or it's sometimes brilliant, but other times it's not. And it's partly, I think, because your intuition can be off on that particular day, or you're not quite as psychically tuned in as you might normally be. So it can work extremely well, but there are going to be times when the psychic impression is inaccessible that particular day, or in some way you're not connecting with what the cards mean, or else you're just basically not sure what to do with the cards. And that's frustrating and annoying. Whereas, so if you find you're in that situation, or you try the 3-card free flow and it's too hard, think about 3 cards, past, present and future. And that it means it's an awful lot easier to read the card because you've got a context. We know that this card is describing something about the past. So it can be showing old situations or earlier conditions that no longer exist. And so you can deal with it maybe in isolation, but to get an idea of maybe what the question was about a man's career. It could indicate what kind of attitude or ideas, good ideas or bad ideas, he brings from the past into the present. And so it gives you a background or context against which to make sense of the card. So we get Pentacles here, but swords and swords. So that's an indication that the problem here is not continuing into the present or the future, whereas swords in the present and swords in the future, the concerns of the moment are not going to be resolved or solved. They're going to continue on into the future for a bit of time. Whereas if we had Pentacles here and here, then we've got old information or old problems from the past are going to be continuing in the future. Not immediately, because swords comes between. But you get the idea from the suits whether things are finished for the time being, or whether they're going to re-emerge later, or whether they're going to continue in the next stage shown by the following card. So if we take a look at this one first, this Knight of Pentacles reversed. Knights are messengers and they bring news, right? And coins is money. So this can simply mean that in the past there was bad news about money. So maybe he wanted a promotion, or he wanted a new job that paid more. He didn't get the promotion, he didn't get the new job. right? Because the Knight of Pentacles is reversed. And that's a fact. It doesn't mean it's going to happen again in the future. It's a different kind of situation. But you've got an idea about a condition in the past. Also, because the woman asked about her husband, who's a man, and a knight is a man, and knights grow up to be kings. And so with the knight upside down, it can be an indication that in the past or recently, he didn't like not being the king. The king is somebody who's in charge. And so it looks like he wasn't in charge. And he wasn't happy with it, because sometimes you're happy not to have to make the ultimate decision. But it looks like there's some kind of annoyance maybe, or disappointment that he wasn't in a promoted position. Okay, the other thing is, because this is the past and it's about career prospects, we could look to this one to indicate what he might have done in the past to change the situation. And so, Knights and Messengers, it could be that he had the chance in the past to pass on, to be a messenger of what he knows, his skills, his abilities. And so, he might have had the chance in the past to teach or to pass on what he's good at to new people or to other people. So he could actually consider, and maybe what this card is indicating as well is that he knew, because of the nature of the card, maybe he knew what was going to happen, but didn't do anything about it. So it can show inactivity on his part in the past, when maybe he would have been in a position to do something about it and change the outcome. But his inactivity or his inaction can have resulted in these two cards for the present. So that's something about the card in the past. If you look at the card for the present, we've got the Ten of Swords reversed. 10 is 1 plus nothing, gets you back to 1 again. But it's upside down. So 1 is a new beginning, and a 10 upside down, the new start is going to be delayed. It's as if winter is going to continue on and spring is not going to happen, right? So you've got a continuation of hardship or a continuation of difficulties, and there is no release or relief and new beginning in spring. It's going to continue on beyond when you would normally expect the new beginning to happen. And it can be that people expect that the old difficulties are going to continue into the future for a bit.